Hello everybody. This is going to be a presentation on how to write programs for controlling the plasma ball with the Spooky software. First thing I'd like to point out is that the plasma ball right here is connected to the Spooky. And I will actually pick the Spooky up physically, bring it into the field of view, and there you go. There's a Spooky, and it is physically connected with two cables going from channel 1 and channel 2 of the Spooky, the red being considered channel 1. Two, right there, that's channel 1 on the plasma ball, or the primary channel. And that would be channel 2, also known as the gating channel. Next, let's turn on the plasma ball. And the plasma ball is now running at its default 30,000 kilohertz frequency. It's an approximate 30,000 plasma ball to plasma ball. It ranges from 29.5 to possibly 31. So the plasma ball transformer was designed to be most efficient at that frequency. We're going to write a program at that frequency. But first, let's switch the plasma ball to the Spooky. Spooky was turned on, it's connected, and it had a default setting of 10,000 kilohertz, amplitude of 5 volts, 100% offset, and a duty cycle of 20%. Let's turn the Spooky on manually, and look at that. Running 10,000 hertz. Okay. We could turn the lights off momentarily so you can see it better. And turn the lights back on. So I can write a program here. So let's create a program first before we do anything else. Go over to the File, click on File, and there's the very top one, Create a Program. This program is going to be a one frequency program or a one frequency protocol. We're going to call it Plasma Ball 30,000. And let's add that hertz word there. Create a frequency of 30,000. And go down in the program description and let's describe it as plasma ball 30,000 and hertz. That's a fine description. A program will be created as soon as this icon is pressed over on the right where the cursor is. Are you sure you want to save and exit? Yes. So we created a program called 30,000 hertz. It is a one frequency protocol or program of 30,000 hertz. We're going to be using that throughout the rest of this demonstration. That is the reason why I wanted to do that little program business. I'm using the older Spooky version if I haven't said it already. It only has 5,000 roughly frequencies in its database. So let's load that program and let's see if it's really there. Go to Programs and let's type in, out of all the 5,000, let's see if there's anything called Plasma Ball. Whoa, look at that. There's one called Plasma Ball 30,000 hertz. It's a custom protocol or frequency, or I mean not frequency, program. Let's activate that. Double click it and it just loaded the program into the Spooky software program. from the database. It's now the program. Let's go to settings. We're going to create the rest of the settings that I want to run that 30,000 hertz at. Duty cycle, 25. I know I said 20 was the max, but believe it or not, the default 30,000, approximate 30,000 kilohertz signal is in the plasma ball, as it comes straight from the manufacturer, is somewhere between 25 and 30. So the higher the frequencies you go, you can have a 25, 30, or even a 35% duty cycle. But when you start getting down in 10,000 or lower, you definitely want to not go any higher on the duty cycle than 20%. Continuing on, 25% duty cycle, amplitude 5 volts for both channels, offset 100 for both channels, 100. Now there's something here that I would like to do. I'd like to turn off channel 2. There's several ways you can do it, but the easiest way through the software to turn off channel 2 is to make the output voltage or amplitude 0. And there's a very easy way to do that. It's over here in output shadowing. And there's a line here that the cursor is pointing at right now. It says out 2 is equal to out 1 times 1 volts. What if we make that times 1 times 0? 0 times any number is 0. And look what happened to the amplitude on channel 2. It is 0. So that effectively turns channel 2 off. We have a protocol, one frequency, 30,000 hertz, that will just run the plasma ball. Let's test it. Okay, let's go up to the control tab. This unit was unit 4. This Spooky is selected as unit 4. And let's hit the start button. Now watch the plasma ball in the background. And voila, the program is working, and you can see we went from 10,000 hertz to 30,000 hertz. So this basic program works. Okay. Next, let's generate a 2-channel program that runs the Spooky at 30,000 hertz, and let's flash it at, let's make it 1/2 hertz. And I want to do that by coming over here to the output shadowing. Now, if you notice that right now I'm pointing to the amplitude on output 2 at 0, I'd like that to be 10 volts. An easy way to do that is to come over here to the voltage. Out 2 is equal to out 1 times, not 0, but times 2. So 2 times 5 is 10. And let's see if that actually changes. Look at that. Over here in out 2, we have an amplitude of 10 volts on channel 2 and an output of 5 volts on channel 1. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now I want to make a frequency on channel 2 of 1/2 hertz. And we have another function in output shadowing, and that is that you can modify output 2 based on whatever frequency out 1 is. Well, output 1 is 30,000 hertz. We loaded that with this program called Plasma Ball 30,000, which is a single frequency program or protocol, and it will run the Spooky on channel 1 at 30,000 hertz. Going back to settings, if I take and subtract 29,999.5 hertz it will result in output 2 having a frequency of 1/2 hertz. And I'm choosing that only for this video so you can see the blinking of the plasma ball. So what I'm going to do is put a minus sign, 2999.5, and that will create a 1/2 hertz. If you subtract that number from 30,000, you'll get 0.5. Isn't that amazing? It's a minus 2999.5. All right, let's test the program. Go to Control. Well, let's make sure that latched in. Go to Control. Oh, before I do that, the channel 2 wave setup, both you can see they're already there. I probably did it subconsciously and didn't even mention it in the video. I'm going to mention it now. Both channels are set for square wave. Okay, continuing on. Let's test this program. And there we go. We're ready to start. Let's see what happens to the plasma ball. Oh, I turned it off. Well, this will turn it back on. So there you have an example of running a 1/2 hertz gating frequency to the plasma ball that's running 30,000 cycles primary. Now that's not that exciting, but you know what will be exciting? What I'm going to do next. Okay, I'm going to stop it, go back to settings, and what if I subtract something that will generate Shillman's resonance? So I'm pulling out my calculator so I don't make a dumb mistake and do it in my head and make a dumb mistake. And I've got 30,000 in my calculator. You can't see this, of course. And I'm going to subtract 7.83, and it gives me a result of 29,099.2.17. Okay, I'm going to put that number in there. 29,992, change the 2, and 0.17. So if I subtract that number, 29,992.17, from 30,000, it will result in a Shillman resonance of frequency of 7.83. Let's test it. Okay, we come over. Now you might not see the flashing as well because of the video lag between the computer and all the multiple programs running, but it will be flashing. And let's see, Control. I'm going back here for a second. I want to make sure I latch that in. Okay, I just did. Control. There it is, 30,000. Let's see what happens when we hit start. It is, you can see the flashing. You definitely can see the flashing. And that is flashing at Shillman's resonance of 7.83. And the little phasing effect that you're getting is just between one camera monitoring or watching another camera. When I look at it, it's flashing beautifully. I don't see that little phasing in and out there. It's just flashing beautifully at 7.83. So with that, we're going to do our next and final step, and that is to create a preset out of what we have here on the screen. So stop this. Let's go back to settings and verify everything. 25% duty cycle, 5 amplitude on channel 1, 10 volts amplitude on channel 2, offset of 100. Then we have our modifications here in output shadowing. And we know that subtracting 2992.17 from 30,000 will result in a frequency on channel 2 of 7.83. And we're taking channel 1's 5 volt amplitude and multiplying it times 2, and that gave us the 10 volts here. Both waveforms are set up as a square wave, and Just validating everything else is cool. No problems. They all look right. All right. So what we do to make a preset. Now this is what I do. I'm running an older version of the software. There's some preset utilities in the March 9, 2018 Spooky software update that also controls the Generation X. But there's a few problems that I had, and one is that I can't save in that particular program anyway. I couldn't get my startup defaults to be saved. And what am I talking about? Here we go. We're going to explain that. File, and coming down here to save as startup defaults. Save startup defaults. If I click that, what will happen if I turn everything off now and restart the program from scratch? All these settings will come right back. They'll be 100%. I'll have the program Plasma Ball 30,000 pop up. I'll have all these settings come up. And if I go over to the control panel, the control tab rather, and fire up the appropriate spooky and hit start, it will come right back and run Schulman's Resonance. But I want to make that into a preset, and here's how you do that. I happen to have a quick tab to the Spooky database. So I'm going to the Spooky database where, here we go, and let's just move this over a little bit so we're ensured that we can see everything, where there is a file called Startup Defaults, and it was just created at 12:10. And if I look at my computer clock, it is 12:11. So it was just created a minute ago. Startup Defaults. I'm going to copy that file. So I'll highlight it, and I use the Control C. You can't see my hands on the keyboard, but I'm using a Control C to copy, and then I'm going to use a Control V to paste a copy back in this folder. And there you go. We have the system startup defaults, and then we have a startup default copy. I'm going to rename that Plasma. We don't have to use the word ball. 30,000. And I'll use a little convention and at separated with some underscores at 7.83. 7.83. Now that name, Plasma 30,000 at 7.83, is very descriptive. It says we have a primary. I'm using nomenclature that helps me know what this program is going to do. We're using 30,000 for the primary frequency, and we're going to gate it at 7.83. This program gets moved, this file rather, gets moved into your user database on presets. And then you can just call it back up, and everything will work just fine. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to open up another copy. Another file folder is what I meant to say. And I'm going to preset collection folder. If I open that folder up, open says me, there we go. I'm going to go to the user database. And as you can see, I already have several Plasma presets made up. But I'm going to go get that one that I just made. Okay, this one right here. I hope you can. I hope I didn't scroll it off the screen. I don't think I did. I'm going to bring it up to the side here. Okay, this one right here. I'm going to drag it over to this folder. And there it is. It's now in my Spooky 2 preset collection for user. And I'm going to close it down, close all these other folders down. We don't need them all open. And I have just created a preset. Let's go into the preset folder. We're going to run this preset now. First of all, I'm going to stop this plasma ball. Okay, and I'm going to go to the preset folder and the user one, and there's the very top one, plasma, 30,000 at 7.83. Double click it, put it in the, well, we're not doing a preset chain, so we're just going to run that one right there. And you can see all the settings are the same. I'm going to have to change something to make this really visual. I'm going to take this minus 299 and put a 0 back in there. I'm going to go back to preset, and I want to show you that this actually did something. Go over to settings and look at that. 2999.2.17 just came up. So there's a preset that will, excuse me, will load everything you need to run the Shulman resonant frequency. Let's test that preset by going to Control, and we are ready to fire. Watch the plasma ball. And there it is. That's how you generate a preset to run really low frequencies. And I consider low frequencies things, anything below 1,000 hertz is really low frequency. You can run the plasma ball down in that frequency range directly, but it won't be as strong as what we're doing here by running 30,000 hertz and gating it on and off at the desired health frequencies we want to go after. So I hope that works for you people. This is a video that shows you how to save a program, how to control the plasma ball, and how to create presets for the plasma ball. And I will put this very preset on the website so you can download and copy it. Everybody have a real nice day. It was very enjoyable doing this video.